Sahanavavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvina Vadhitamastu Ma Vittishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Gananam Tva Ganapatikam Havamahe Kavim Kavinam Upamashravastamam Cheshtarajyam Brahmanam Brahmanaspatana Shrinvanodibhi Sita Sadhanam Mahaganapataye Namaha. Om Bhadram Karnebhi Shrunuyama Devaha Bhadram Pashyema Kshabhirya Chatraha Sthirairange Tushtuvagam Sastanobhihi Veshema Devahitam Yatayuhu Swasti na Indro Vrittashravaha Swasti na Pusha Vishwavedaha Swasti nastarchyo Arishtanemihi Swasti no Brahaspadir Dadhatu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Brahmanandam Paramasukhadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dandvadhitam Gaganasadrisham Tattvamasyadilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavaditam Trigunarikitam Satgurum Tam Namami. Bhavaditam Trigunarikitam Satgurum Tam Namami. We will begin with a chanting of these mantras. These are called mantras. These are written in the metrical form, so we have to chant them. So let us chant it. Some of you may not be able to read the Sanskrit text, doesn't matter. You just listen it. Those who cannot follow with me, they just listen. Those who can follow after my reading, they can repeat it. So we will read the Upanishadic mantras. There are 18 mantras. So we will be reading all the 18 mantras. And it's very nice to hear the mantras. These vibrations are very nice, very peaceful, and gives you a sense of peace and silence and holiness. So let me read it. Om Purnamataha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Once more. Om Purnamataha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shantihi Shantihi Shantihi.
Om Shantihi Shantihi Shantihi.
Om Isavasyamidam sarvam
Om Isavasyamidam sarvam
Yatkincha jagatyam jagat
Yatkincha jagatyam jagat
Tena tyaktena bhunjitaha
Tena tyaktena bhunjitaha
Magridha kasya svidhanam.
Magridha kasya svidhanam.
Once more. Om Isavasyamidam sarvam
Om Isavasyamidam sarvam
Yatkincha jagatyam jagat
Yatkincha jagatyam jagat
Tena tyaktena bhunjitaha
Tena tyaktena bhunjitaha
Magridha kasya svidhanam.
Magridha kasya svidhanam.
Next one. Kurvanneveha karmani
Kurvanneveha karmani
Jijivishetchatagum samaha
Jijivishetchatagum samaha
Evam tvayi nanyadhedosti
Evam tvayi nanyadhedosti
Na karma lipyate nare Kurvanneveha karmani
Kurvanneveha karmani
Jijivishetchadagum samaha
Jijivishetchadagum samaha
Evam tvayi nanyadhedosti
Evam tvayi nanyadhedosti
Na karma lipyate nare Asurya namate lokaha
Asuryanamate lokaha
Andhena tamasavritaha
Andhena tamasavritaha
Tanste pretyabhigachanti
Tamse pratyabhigachanti
Yeke chatmahano janaha
Yeke chatmahano janaha
Asurya namate lokaha
Asuryanamate lokaha
Andhena tamasavritaha
Andhena tamasavritaha
Tanste pretyabhigachanti
Tamse pratyabhigachanti
Yeke chatmahano janaha.
Yeke chatmahano janaha.
So these are some of the most ancient sounds that humankind uttered, which we can hear 7,000 years ago. The rishis on the banks of the Indus and the Ganges river intonated these mantras. So some of the most ancient sounds captured in the Vedas. So that's the sanctity and the purity of this sound. You may not know the meaning. The meaning is not important at this point. It is the rhythm and the intonation, the beauty of the sound. So otherwise you may wonder, why should I go through this torture of repeating these words? These words are very holy and the most ancient, and we have captured it in its purity. No corruption has occurred in the pronunciation of these words. No corruption. It's uncorrupt words. So that's the beauty of this. Continuing. Ane jadekam manaso javiyah nainadeva apnuvan purvamarshad taddhavadonya natyedi tishtad tasmin nabo Madarishva dadhadi Ane jadekam manaso javiyah. It's the same mantra. Naina deva apnuvan purvamarshad. Taddhavadonya natyedi tishtad. Tasmin nabo Madarishva dadhadi. Tade jadi tanne jadi. Taddure tadvantige. Tadandarasya sarvasya. Tadu sarvasya asya bhagyataha. Tade jadi tanne jadi. Taddure tadvantige. Tadandarasya sarvasya. Tadu sarvasya asya bhagyataha. Yastu sarvani bhutani Atmanyevanupashyati Sarvabhuteshu cha atmanam Tato navijugupsade Yastu sarvani bhutani Atmanyevanupashyati Sarvabhuteshu cha atmanam Tato navijugupsade Yasmin sarvani bhutani Atmeva bhudvichanataha Tatra ko moha kashokaha Ekatvamanupashyataha Yasmin sarvani bhutani Atmeva bhudvichanataha Tatra ko moha kashokaha Ekatvamanupashyataha Sapparyagat chukram Akayam Avranam अश्नाविरं शुद्धं अपापविद्धं कविर्मनीषी परिभूस्वयंभूः यथा तद्यतः अर्थान् व्यदधात् शाश्वतेभ्यः समाभ्यः. Once more. सपर्यगाद् शुक्रम् अकायम् अव्रणम् अश्नाविरम् शुद्धम् अपापविद्धम् कविर्मनीषी परिभूस्वयंभूः यथा तद्यतः अर्थान् व्यदधात् शाश्वतेभ्यः समाभ्यः. अंधं तमप्रविशन्ति ये अविद्यामुपासते ततो भूय इव ते तमः. य उविद्याया गुम्रताः अंधं तमप्रविशन्ति ये अविद्यामुपासते ततो भूय इव ते तमः. य उविद्याया गुम्रताः अन्यदेव आहुविद्यया अन्यदाहुरविद्यया इति शुश्रुमधीराणाम् येनस्तद्व्यचचक्षिरे अन्यदेव आहुः अन्यदेवाहुः विद्यया अन्यदाहुरविद्यया इति शुश्रुमधीराणाम् येनस्तद्व्यचचक्षिरे विद्यां च यस्तद्वेदो भयं सः अविद्यया मृत्युं तीर्त्वा विद्यया मृतमश्नुते विद्यां च यस्तद्वेदो भयं सः अविद्यया मृत्युं तीर्त्वा विद्यया मृतमश्नुते अंधं तमप्रविशन्ति ये असम्भूतिमुपासते ततो भूय इव ते तमः. य सम्भूत्या गुम्रताः अंधं तमप्रविशन्ति ये असम्भूतिमुपासते ततो भूय इव ते तमः. य सम्भूत्या गुम्रताः अन्यदेव आहुः सम्भवात् अन्यदाहुरसम्भवात् इति शुश्रुमधीराणाम् येनस्तद्व्यचचक्षिरे अन्यदेव आहुः सम्भवात् अन्यदाहुरसम्भवात् इति शुश्रुमधीराणाम् येनः तद्व्यचचक्षिरे स Sambhodhim cha vinasham cha
Sambodhim cha vinasham cha
Yastadvedo bhayam saha
Yastadvido bhayam saha
Vinashena mrityum tirtva
Vinasena mrityum te
Sambhutya mridamashnude
Sambhutya mridamasnade
Sambhodhim cha vinasham cha
Sambodhim cha vinasham cha
Yastadvedo bhayam saha
Yastadvido bhayam saha
Vinashena mrityum tirtva
Vinasena mrityum te
Sambhutya mridamashnude
Sambhutya mridamasnade
Hiranmayena patrena
Hiranmayena patrena
Satyasyapi hidam mukham
Satyasyavidam mukham
Tattvam pushanna pavrunu
Tattvam pushana pavana
Satyadharmaya drishtaye
Satyadharmaya drishyate
Hiranmayena patrena
Hiranmayena patrena
Satyasyapi hidam mukham
Satyasyavidam mukham
Tattvam pushanna pavrunu
Tattvam pushana pavana
Satyadharmaya drishtaye
Satyadharmaya drishyate
Pushanna egarshe
Pushanye garashe
Yamas surya
Yamasu
Prajapatya
Prajapatya
Vyuha Rashmin Samoha Tejaha Yatte Rupam Kalyanatamam Tatte Pashyami Yaha asau Purushaha Sohamasmi Pushanne Karshe Yamas Surya Prajapatya Vyuharashmin Samuhastejaha Yatte Rupam Kalyanatamam Tatte Pashyami Yaha asau Purushaha Sohamasmi Vayuranilamamrudamadhedam Bhasmantagam shariram Om krado smara kridagam smara Krado smara kridagam smara Vayuranilamamrudamadhedam Bhasmantagam shariram O krado smara kridagam smara Krado smara kridagam smara Agnena yassubadharaye asman Vishwani deva vayunani vidwan Yuyodhyasmadjuhuranamenaha Yuyodhyasmadjuhuranamenaha Bhuyishtam te namauktim vidhema Bhuyishtam te namauktim vidhema. So these are the 18 mantras. The meaning of the word mantra is that which protects the one who repeats. So the one who repeats the mantra is protected by the mantra. That's why in India, when you go to a guru, he gives you a mantra. Go and chant this mantra. So those mantras create vibrations, positive, holy vibrations in you and around you. And as a result of that, you feel the healing power, the healing sensation. You feel integrated and together. That is the purpose of the mantra. So all these 18 mantras, by repeated chanting, that's why we chanted it, though you did not know the meaning. You don't have to know the meaning, though I am going to tell you all the meaning of these mantras. Mere repetition of the mantra itself gives you a lot of positive and holy sensation. So that's the mantra. So there are 18 mantras, and we are going to reflect, contemplate upon this mantra tomorrow and day after for about 10-15 hours. We will be contemplating upon the meaning, the significance, the word meaning, the sentence meaning, and the implied meaning and the spiritual meaning of these mantras. And this particular Upanishad, this text is called an Upanishad. And this particular Upanishad is considered the most important Upanishad of the world of Upanishad. The most important. Though it is one of the shortest Upanishads. There are bigger voluminous Upanishads like the Chandogya and the Brihadaranyaka, but this is one of the shortest Upanishads. Though it is the shortest, it is a very, very significant Upanishad. And the Upanishad is the quintessential meaning of the Vedas. You know, the Vedas are the scriptures of the Hindus, 7,000 years old, composed on the banks of the Indus and the Ganges. So those Vedas, composed 7,000 years ago, they are considered the foundational text of the Hindus of India. And by the study and the reflection of these Upanishadic mantras, we will be able to invoke and unlock our inner powers and potentials. That's the purpose. Otherwise, you are not interested in simply by hearting these mantras or chanting the mantras, simply because they are 7,000 years old mantras. So by the repeated chanting of the mantra and the reflection of the meaning of the mantras, you are able to unlock your own inner powers. So the idea behind this Upanishad is that each one of you has or have enough enormous energy locked up in your own consciousness. We don't know that such powers are there, because we are leading an unconscious life, completely ignorant of our own potentialities. That's the meaning of an unconscious life. When I said unconscious, you may be surprised. How can the Swami say I am unconscious? I am conscious of everything what is going on here. You are conscious of the external sensate world, which is fleeting, which is changing, which is meaningless, which is like a shadow. You cannot catch a shadow. You cannot catch a rainbow. You cannot cut it and put it in your bag, because the rainbow doesn't exist as such. Similarly, the world is only a shadow, the sensate world. But there is an inner world which is much more significant and valuable. And that is the source of all energies, happiness, energy, etc. So we are blissfully ignorant about that world from time immemorial. And we are like beggars going around in the world. And you go around in the world for 90 years, 100 years, and finally you get so frustrated, disappointed. And by the time it is time for you to pack up also, pack up to the other world. There you go and search again in heaven, in hell. And if there are any in-between worlds, there too. And there also you get frustrated, disappointed, then you come back here again. By the time the world does change, it's an unknown world for you, a strange world for you, though you have departed from here long back. And you again continue the search on the wrong place. And after a long, such futile search, you decide, let me sit down. Enough is enough. Let me sit down cross-legged or whatever way you can. Let me sit down, close my eyes. I am tired of looking at this world, changing world. Because it's fast changing, ever changing. If you keep on looking at a changing phantasmagoric phenomena, constantly changing, then you get tired. Your eyes get tired. So you close your eyes and your attention goes with it. And then something happens, some light, some experience, some visage, some beautiful form appears, and you pursue that into your own inner depths. And many people have done that. And these are their recordings. From there they reported their experiences. So these mantras are the reports, genuine reports of sane people, not insane people. Sometimes you can go insane and then you can report, I saw this, I saw that. And but you can make out these are all reports of disturbed minds. And when you listen to it, you also get disturbed. So these are people with great clarity, great intelligence, great sanity. And their reports, their recordings are being recorded here. So the entire pursuit is, the entire direction of the pursuit is different. Instead of pursuing into the materialistic, ever-changing, sensate world, we are turning our attention, a kind of a 180-degree turn, our attention to the inner consciousness. The last continent to be conquered, as they say. The continent of the mind and beyond the mind. It is not just the mind. The mind is still limited. The brain, of course, is limited. The mind is still limited. We are talking about a region which lies beyond the mind, the land of pure light, the land of pure illumination, the Buddha land, the land of purity. That's what we are searching. So last time in our Tattva class, we talked about knowledge of Tattva, the truth. Tattva means the essence, the irreducible essence, which cannot be further cut and destroyed. It is the absolute essence, which is the meaning of Tattva. We were talking about that. We meditated upon that. We discussed about it. How far you understood it, how far you appreciate it, that's a different question. That you have to go on reflecting. Tattva Bodha. So the same ideas are further elaborated in this Upanishad. So let me tell you in the very beginning that Upanishad is the quintessential wisdom of the Vedas. You all know there are 4 Vedas. I don't want to repeat that. Rig Veda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, Atharvana Veda. At least let us know these 4 names. Rig, Sama, Yajura, Atharvana Veda. And they are all mantras. So of these 4 Vedas, from these 4 Vedas, we get the Upanishad. The Vedas are essentially dealing with rituals. Rituals to propitiate cosmic forces. There are many rituals. We all know that we have no control over the cosmic forces. The sun, the moon, the wind, the fire, the ocean, the waters. We have no control. And we are afraid of them. The terrible rain, floods, you will have to run away. You have to run with your limited belonging, you have to run away. A storm or an earthquake or a volcano erupting, you have to run away. So, or a thunder or a lightning or a meteor coming and falling upon us. This world is so tiny compared to the vast cosmos, so tiny. And we are riding on this tiny world, a tiny person. And we say we know everything. That is ridiculous. So this way, so from the worldly, from that standpoint, that we are nothing. But from the consciousness standpoint, we are everything. As a consciousness, we encompass everything. So our attempt is to probe or excavate that consciousness, go into that consciousness. So Upanishad is the quintessential wisdom of the Vedas. Vedas are talking about the material world, how to conquer the material world. And through the mantras, through many rituals, they try to conquer and control the material world and change the material world to suit their desires and interests. They could reach up to heaven. We have reached only this kind of a materialistic comfort where we have to sweat and toil. In spite of all the sweat and toil, we are not able to enjoy it also, because we are all the time working to keep these comforts. Whereas in heaven you don't have to work, you can enjoy all the comfort. Think of that. That is the difference between heaven and the world. In the world you have to work. You have to work by the sweat of thy brow. You have to live. And what you get is paltry enjoyments. And you have no time or the energy to enjoy it also. You are so much upset. You are all the time worried. Comforts are there. Lavish dinner is laid on the table, but you have no time or the energy or the inner peace to enjoy it. So it's all there. But in heaven you don't have to work. There you can have all the enjoyments. But the problem in heaven is you cannot literally eat the food. You can only see it. Like very wealthy people nowadays, they cannot eat any food. They cannot eat ice cream, they cannot eat carbo, they cannot eat that, they cannot eat this. They can only look at it. Similarly in heaven, all the enjoyments are there, but you cannot really consume all those enjoyments. So tired of all these materialistic pursuits, the rishi sits down and go withinward. That search is being, and that sadhana, that spiritual pursuit is being recorded here. And that's the world of the Upanishad. So from the Vedas, you move into the world of the Upanishads. What is the meaning of the Upanishad? The word Upanishad has a very interesting meaning. It means, Upa means near, Ni means down, Shat means to sit. That's the literal meaning of the word Upa, Ni, Shat. Upa means near, Ni means down, Shat means to sit, meaning sit down near. Near whom? That question is there. Near whom? Where should I sit down? Because there is no place where I feel comfortable to sit down. So where can I sit down comfortably, quietly, peacefully? So that's understood. Sit down near the Guru, the teacher. That's the meaning. That is understood. Because nowhere else will you find any peace. That is the only place, company, where you can feel comfort and silence and solitude. So Upanishad means sit down near the teacher. That's all what means. It can also mean sit down near yourself. Be comfortable with yourself. That's another meaning of the Upanishad. Because it is very difficult to feel comfortable with oneself. You cannot confront yourself. Because all kinds of thoughts come, manifest. That's why people love to be in the crowd, hearing the news or reading the newspaper or watching the TV or making a lot of noise, talking loud, because they want to run away from themselves. They don't feel comfortable with themselves. So here Upanishad says, try to sit down comfortably with yourself. You are your good friend. Nobody can be your good friend. And you can be your worst enemy also. If the mind is not positive, the mind is not creative, the mind is not peaceful, then you are your enemy. The mind is not contented, you are your worst enemy. The mind is at peace, quiet, silent, creative, then you are your best friend. So therefore try to learn to make friends with your own mind, with your own self, with your own spirit. So Upanishad can also mean sit with yourself. And our attempt is to be with ourselves. And the next day and the following day we will try to look into ourselves and try to find our peace within ourselves and try to be comfortable with ourselves. That's the idea of saying Upanishad. So Vedas and the Upanishad. Upanishad also is known as Vedanta, the end of knowledge. End of knowledge. Knowledge has to come to an end. You keep on knowing. A time comes you are so confused of all this knowledge. That's why there has to be an end to knowing. What they call the end of knowledge. Non-knowing. Not knowing. That is the most comfortable state, I tell you. Where there is nothing to know. You are comfortable with everything. You are flowing and dancing with everything. There is nothing to know. The end of knowledge. It can also mean the culmination of all knowing. All your effort to know ends when you have self-knowledge. When you know the knower. Isn't it? When you know the knower, then all your effort to know end. Because you have already known the knower. So Upanishad means knowledge of the knower who knows everything. Or the knowledge of the subject, subjective knowledge instead of objective knowledge. Objective knowledge is very important. I'm not discounting the importance of objective knowledge. But without the subjective knowledge, objective knowledge is of no use. You have all the objective knowledge, but you don't know who you are. I'm not simply talking in terms of Freud or Jung or those people. Because Freud has got a certain grasp about the human beings, his unconscious. Jung has a certain grasp about the collective unconscious. We are talking about something beyond the unconscious, collective unconscious. We are talking about the super consciousness, if I can use that word. Something beyond all this. To reach the super consciousness, we have to contemplate, meditate. Not simply thinking, not simply analyzing, but simply keeping your mind quiet. That is the path to super consciousness, higher consciousness, trans-personal consciousness, pure consciousness, whatever way you put it. And that pure consciousness is pure bliss. Because when I say pure consciousness, you feel sleepy. Why should I know the pure consciousness? Once you touch the pure consciousness, you feel so blissful. That's the test of whether you have arrived there. Thereafter you just laugh, a cosmic laugh or a belly laughter, whatever way you put it. Suddenly you start laughing for no reason at all. We also laugh sometimes with a reason. We got $10 from the road, or you got a phone call from your good friend, or your son is coming from Florida or somewhere. So there is a joy because of that event or incident. Here, a joy which arises from within yourself, without any hindrance, without any reason. That kind of a joy I am talking. So when you know the self, you become a very joyous and a happy person. That is the meaning of the end of knowing, end of knowledge. There is some reason why God was angry with Adam when he ate the apple of knowledge, of good and bad. Because the moment you ate the apple of knowledge, of good and bad, then these two thoughts, the struggle in the mind starts. What is good, what is bad, how to avoid bad, and how to do good. And the more you try to avoid bad, the more you end up doing bad things. The more you try to do good, the more you are away from good. This kind of a mind operates on a law of reverse. It all the time reverses. Whatever it go on to do, it goes against it. The law of reverse effect, they say. Whatever you want to do, you do exactly the opposite. So it's better not to know. But that non-knowledge should come after all these pursuits. Otherwise, even an idiot can be called an enlightened person. So there is a difference between an idiot and an enlightened person. An enlightened person has reached a super conscious level. An idiot is below the conscious. He is on an unconscious level. That is the difference. Though they look alike, both are silent, both don't speak much. Idiot doesn't speak because he does not know anything. The enlightened person does not speak, there is no point in speaking. That's why he is not speaking. So both look silent and alike, but they are totally different. So our pursuit is to know the knower, the self in the Upanishad. So that pursuit of the subject or the knower or the consciousness is called Vedanta, the ultimate knowledge or the supreme knowledge. Para Vidya, the supreme knowledge. And all other knowledge is called the lower knowledge or the secondary knowledge or the knowledge of the objective world. An intelligent man, enlightened person may require both the knowledge. Subjective knowledge, self-knowledge, which everybody should have. And objective knowledge, there are many departments, domains of objective knowledge. So there you have to choose what you want to know. You can do mathematics, economics, physics, whatever you want. You cannot study all of them. But subjective knowledge, everybody must possess. So once you have the subjective knowledge, then you are an enlightened person. That is the subject matter of the Upanishad. And earlier in the Tattvabodha class we studied, to be a fit student of the Upanishad, you require certain qualification. Some qualification. What are those qualifications? I am not asking you, those who attended the old classes. So there are certain qualifications expected of a student of Vedanta. And the first qualification is Viveka Buddhi, the ability to discriminate between good and bad, between that which is lasting and that which is fleeting, between that which is good for you and that which is bad for you, and an ability to reject the bad and cling on to the good. That ability is very, very important. Otherwise, you cannot contemplate upon the self or the spirit. Merely knowing good and bad is not enough. You must be able to reject the bad and cling on to the good, the truth, and reject the untruth. Untruth means that which constantly changes. So we are running behind the changing world, trying to catch the mirage. And the more you try, the more you are fooled and confused. So therefore an ability to reject and then go to the truth. That is the first qualification, which requires a certain heroism from your side. Because this tantalizing world, to reject it is not that easy. When I say reject it, the Rishi does not want you to run away from it, because you cannot. You cannot run away from the world. It is a mental understanding that this world is made up of that which is changing and that which is permanent. So you must be able to see the permanent in the change. Anything permanent in the change. In all your experience. Suppose somebody say a harsh word against you, utters a harsh word, and you are so much upset. You start criticizing even God. Where is God? Which God? Just because somebody said a harsh word. And that harsh word should not affect you so much, because it is only a temporary disturbance in your tympanum. That's all what has happened, and you interpreted it as a bad thing. Let's see your interpretation. Change your interpretation. It no more can affect you. So you say these small things should not affect you, affect your concentration or attention. You must have the heroism to reject all of them, their power over you. So that's called the power of discrimination. Ability to immediately see it is not worth fighting for. If it comes, that's fine. If the world is behind you, if the world runs after you, that's okay. But we should not run after the worldly objects. That's all what is expected here. So that kind of a discrimination is viveka, is very, very important. I am not talking about discriminating the black from the white. I am not talking about that discrimination. Because in this country, when I say discrimination, you have to be very careful. Discrimination between the old and the young, the disabled and the abled, the educated and uneducated, male and female. I am not talking about that kind of a discrimination. I am talking about good and bad, lasting and changing, subjective and objective. What is objective and what is subjective? What is consciousness and what is the content of consciousness? That's the discrimination. And what is super consciousness and what is ordinary consciousness? This is the discrimination we are talking about. So discrimination and a relentless pursuit of truth and the readiness to sacrifice everything for it, and ready to follow all the disciplines necessary for it, then I guarantee your life will never be boring. Now you say life is a big bore. Why it is a bore? Because you are following the ordinary, running after the ordinary things. And when you get it, you have no value for it. That's why life is boring. So when you pursue truth, there will be no boredom at all. Decide that for another 3 years I will not utter a lie. Life will not be boring. Because you have to be very, very careful thereafter. Somebody asks you what is your age. From that onwards, the calamity starts. You have to think 10 times. You will say, I'll tell you tomorrow. Because you have to assess the consequences. If I tell what will happen to me. So this way, we are all afraid of telling the truth. Till we learn to tell the truth, there is no pursuit of the self or God. It's a gigantic discipline. So that's what we are all for. I am not telling that you must follow all the discipline. At least be aware of the discipline. Let's know what are the disciplines. So Viveka, Vairagya, etc. We talked about these disciplines. So armed with those disciplines, we are now in a process of contemplating or delving, going deep into oneself. Atma Anveshana. That's what we are trying to do. Atmanvesh, search for the self. We are not interested in anything else at this point. So it is the search for the self. How do I do that? How do I search for the self? The deep resource hidden, latent within each one of us. How do we do that search? Should I sit under a tree, close my eyes, sit under a tree and search for it? How do I do this self-search? Sitting under a tree, and you say Buddha sat under the tree, therefore let me go and sit under the tree. Apparently both of you look alike Buddha, but you are a Buddhu. Buddhu means a useless person. So Buddha sat under the tree after a long research and study and reflection. You and I go and sit under the tree, nothing is going to happen. So is it sitting under a tree or in a cave? Or what should I do? Or should I in a Sputnik go into the outer space or under the ocean? Or should I stop eating? That's another method. I stop it. So the body will become very emaciated and finally I can drop the body. Then I will gain illumination. Is that the method? Should I do that? Or should I take some drugs or medicine and alter my consciousness? So these are some of the things people think, and here the Upanishad is going to give you another method. So what is the appropriate and the correct and the straight method of self-inquiry? That was a question we were discussing earlier. If you are so lucky to be chosen by the truth as a vehicle, then you get it as a direct revelation. Whether you sit under a tree or in a cave or on the road to Damascus, wherever you are, you get the revelation. Truth will be revealed to you. And then you don't require any qualification for that. God or the truth chooses you to be the vehicle of His incarnation into the world. But very few of us are so lucky to receive that revelatory knowledge. And that cannot be made into a teaching. I cannot say you stand like this, you will get the revelation. Sit like this, you will get the revelation. So that's all by chance. We have no way of knowing who gets it, when he gets it, how he is getting it. But there are recorded history. In the history, this is recorded such instances where God chooses sometime a person or a set of people to reveal Himself. In spite of his willingness or knowledge, He just reveals. But the rishis who have got such revelations, they have recorded their experiences, and these Upanishads are the recordings of such experiences. They are the statements of those rishis, those prophets, those Mahatmas who got this revelation. Because otherwise we have no way of even suspecting about that dimension. It's impossible to think of that dimension. It's beyond our capacity. It is beyond our cognitive capacities. So therefore, for us, the method is to read the scriptures. By reading and reflecting, contemplating upon these words of the rishis, we will be able to transcend and reach that destination. So the reading and the contemplation upon these words, scriptures, become a sure means to reach that state of consciousness. The rest are all uncertain means. Going into the Himalaya or sitting in a cave or twisting your body in impossible postures are not the method. They are good as a discipline. but not for this knowledge. So here a knowledge, a path is given. Read it, reflect on this, but not independently. If you independently read this text, nothing will happen. You may just read it in a hurry-burry, as you are waiting for the train. There half an hour train is half an hour late, or invariably it happens in the airport, half an hour late, rain comes, or the plane is late. So then you buy an Upanishad and read it in that half an hour, in that crowd, in that unholy atmosphere, and then you say, I have completed the Upanishad, I got enlightenment. That kind of enlightenment is only a make-believe enlightenment. So what is necessary is reading the scripture with the help of a teacher. A person who has sat at the feet of somebody else. That is the definition of a teacher. A teacher is one, a guru is one who had the humility to sit at the feet of somebody and then learn from him. Then alone we become a teacher. Independently you cannot just discover this truth. It has to be from a living teacher. So this is called a parambara, a tradition of living teachers. They teach you and you in turn teach somebody, share that knowledge with somebody. It is not a book knowledge, but it is a knowledge coming directly from the living experience of a teacher. Then alone it becomes. That's the difference between you reading it independently and learning it from a tradition. It should be traditional. Otherwise this can be interpreted in many ways. After all, they are words. They are words. Words are trying to convey something very profound. Some spiritual nutrition is being conveyed to you. Like you take a spoon. In a spoon you take a morsel of food and put it in your mouth, but don't bite the spoon. Let the spoon convey the food and then you take out the spoon. Similarly, these words by themselves have no meaning. They are trying to convey certain meaning which is difficult. Meanings are so profound. So it requires the dexterous handling in the hand of a teacher. These words are to be handled properly. That's why you can, if you read the Bible, you can interpret it in many ways. Many ways you can interpret it. And Jesus Christ says, I have come here to make you fight. The father and the children, the parents and the children, to make them fight. I have come here. It's very difficult to understand what is the meaning of that. On another place he says, I have come here to bring peace, the kingdom of God. So there are contradictory statements. These statements are to be interpreted situationally. That's very, very important, depending upon the need of the student. And that's the job of a living teacher. So this has to be learned from a living, and I think that's a very, very important point. Learn from, study and reflect. If you simply sit down and read, then you create your own truths. Nothing wrong about it. You will always get a set of followers for your own truth. But that is not the real truth. That doesn't save you. So one has to learn it from the masters. You must follow the tradition. To learn the Vedanta, you must follow the tradition. So thus we are here in our effort to know the self, to inquire into the self. We are taking the help of the scriptures and we are trying to understand the meaning of the scripture. Not just the word meaning, but the implied and the spiritual essence, significance of these words. That's our purpose. And when you have understood the meaning, it becomes a real, living, inexhaustible experience for you. You experience it. Something very deep in you changes. Some deep mutation takes place. Not simply in the brain, but somewhere deep, a change happens. And then you yourself will Understand it. Nobody have to then tell you, oh, you have arrived. You don't have to go around asking, do I look arrived? What do you think of me? You don't have to do that. You don't require any external confirmation. It's your own cheap feeling. I believe in it, and I have seen people who have undergone such changes. It is possible for you also. And that does not make you an incompetent person in the world. Some people say, once I reach the spiritual zenith, then I become incompetent to live in this world. That's a lie. When you reach that spiritual state, you will be able to deal with the world in a much better way to deal with the world. So your efficiency is increased. Your worldly efficiency will be increased by gaining this spiritual knowledge. So let's not have this thinking that, oh, I may become incompetent, I may become useless, I may not even see the world. You will see the world much better. Like even after a evening rain or a night-long rain, the trees are all clean, the leaves are all fresh and clean, shining, and the valley is crystal clear, shining in the morning sun for you after the rain. Similarly, when this rain of intelligence, shower of enlightenment has happened, you will see the world much better. You will be able to deal with the world much more clearly. So let's not feel that, oh, after enlightenment I will not be able to go to the office or recognize my children, wife and children, or where is my house. These kind of delusions, confusion will not be there. You will see things much more clearly. From a greater height and depth, you will be able to deal with the world better. You will be able to deal with the people better, people's problems better. In fact, you alone will have the ability to heal the other person, both physical and mental problems. Healing. Just by a look or a touch, you will be able to heal people, because there is so much kindness, so much understanding, so much clarity in your words. You will stop judging others. That is another beauty. You stop judging others. Judgment is the attitude of a small-minded person. He is good, he is bad, etc., etc. So you are able to see everybody as children of God. Everybody has got a purpose in this world. That kind of an attitude. You see everybody as pure. So one of the Upanishad statement is, Mitrasya chachusha pashyamahe. Thereafter, you start seeing everybody with the eye of friendliness. Mitrasya chachusha pashyamahe. So these are some of the additional benefits that we get by the study and reflection of the scriptures. So you are a very efficient person, got a healing touch, you can relate with the people better, you stop judging others. When you stop judging others, they also stop judging you. So there is no judgment. When there is no judgment, your consciousness opens up interdimensionally. You are able to see situation from many standpoints. That's the beauty of when there is no judgment. Even a madman, you don't judge him mad. Madness means is our own attitude. Otherwise there is no mad people. It's our own attitude. You look at him from the eye of the spirit. And when you look at him from the eye of the spirit, there is this healing experience for him and for you. That's how we have to look at it. So this is a spiritual experience. But merely pretending is not enough. One has to gain that understanding. Then the whole world is seen in a different light. So these are some of the benefits of gaining this self-knowledge. So please understand, one has to take the help of the scripture. Without that, self-inquiry can go haywire to different tangent. And that can create problem. That's why some people, spiritual people, almost get lost. They don't know what they are happening to them. There's nobody to guide them. So guidance is necessary. So having said that, the importance of Isavasya Upanishad, or for that matter any Upanishad or any mantra, this particular Upanishad which you are going to study is called Isavasya Upanishad. So please, you must be very clear of the meaning of Upanishad. Upanishad means upa, near, ni means down, shat means to sit. Sit down near and study. That is the purpose of meaning of Upanishad. Be comfortable with yourself, another meaning. Seek God, third meaning of the Upanishad. It's a Sanskrit word. Upanishad is a Sanskrit word. Shat can mean to walk also. Walk towards truth, eternity, fearlessly. Move towards truth. These are some of the meaning of the Upanishad. And this particular Upanishad is from the Yajurveda. There are 4 Vedas. This particular Upanishad belongs to Yajurveda. And Yajurveda itself has got 2 branches, the white and the black Yajurveda. So this particular Upanishad belongs to the white Yajurveda, popular in North India. Some of you may not know the geography of India. India can be broadly divided into north and the south. The northern people are generally fair complexion people. Not as fair as you, but from our standpoint they are pale color and northern people. Southern people are black in complexion generally, not all of them. So the southern branch is called the black branch, northern branch is called the white branch. So this particular Upanishad belongs to the white branch, the northern people. There are Upanishads which belongs to the southern people, like Kathopanishad. Have you ever heard that name of the Upanishad? Kathopanishad, another Upanishad. Or Taittiriya Upanishad. We studied it in the Himalayas, Taittiriya Upanishad. All belongs to the southern branch. There is a very interesting story that a great rishi called Yajnavalkya, his name is Yajnavalkya. He is a southerner. He comes from southern India. He learned from his master Vaishambhayana, master's name, who himself was a disciple of Vyasa, sage Vyasa, who wrote Mahabharata and Bhagavad Gita, sage Vyasa. So Vyasa's disciple Vaishambhayana, Vaishambhayana's disciple Yajnavalkya. So Yajnavalkya learnt all these Atma Vidya, spiritual knowledge, from his master. But then, once you have spiritual knowledge, you become very humble and simple. But Yajnavalkya became very arrogant. Oh, I have studied all this. Who is there equal to me? So he became so arrogant, his master became unhappy with him, disgusted with him. And he told him, not only is arrogant, he is intelligent also. So he can recite all the Upanishad, he can explain all the Upanishad, he knows all the meaning, sometimes more than the master himself. And then he went around throwing his weight in the university, in the ashram. He'll challenge everybody for debate, and he will defeat everybody. So he has become a nuisance in the university. Instead of bringing peace, his very presence caused unhappiness to others because of his arrogance. The master said, you have not fulfilled the purpose of learning. You have accumulated knowledge, but it has not gone into your heart. You have not become humble. So therefore, vomit all this knowledge here. Give up all this knowledge. You cannot teach this knowledge. I don't give you permission. You have no my blessings. You may go and teach, but somebody will ask you, who taught you? Then you will say, okay, Vaishambhayana taught me. Then he will phone me up. Did you teach him? Yes, I will tell him I taught him, but he is a useless person. He is an arrogant person. Don't learn from him. Therefore, don't teach this anyway. And on those days, the first question they ask you, who taught you all this? And if you said, no, nobody taught me, then he will not learn from you. So, Vaishambhayana said, you cannot teach this knowledge. So Yajnavalkya leaves the university and then goes to North India. There nobody is willing to teach him because he is excommunicated from that place. So then he prayed to Lord Sun. He stood on one leg on the banks of Ganga and prayed to Lord Sun. He knew everything, but still he cannot teach because of his arrogance. So he prays to Lord Sun every day through Gayatri. One day Sun said, yes, can I help you? He said, I want to learn from you now. Nobody else is willing to teach me. So Sun said, get on to my vehicle. So Sun is always driving the chariot and going across the horizon. Morning he comes to the eastern, then he goes to the west, and then he goes under the earth and then comes back. That's the mythology. It may not be scientifically correct, but the mythology says that's why Sun is constantly on the move. So Lord Sun said, I cannot teach you sitting at a place. You can be with me in the chariot. It may be a little hot, but then you must be in the chariot, then I will teach you. He said, yes, I am ready to learn from you, whatever may be the inconvenience. Then climb on to the chariot. So Yajnavalkya climbed on and Sun taught him. It is a little difficult because Sun has to turn back and teach him. So he taught him this particular Upanishad. That's why it is called Vachasaneyi Upanishad. There is another word there in your yellow text. Vachasaneyi Upanishad. Vachi means the sun. Vachasaneyi means taught by the sun. Yajnavalkya learned this Upanishad at the feet of Lord Sun himself, which is the source of all light and knowledge. That's the beauty of this Upanishad. That is the importance of this Upanishad. So he learned two Upanishads from Lord Sun. One Isavasyam and the other is called Brahada Aranyakam. Brahad means big, Aranyaka means forest. The big forest Upanishad. Big forest Upanishad means a very voluminous Upanishad, long Upanishad. So these two Upanishads he learned from Yajnavalkya. Yajnavalkya learned from the Sun. And then he started teaching. Sun said, you can go and teach anybody. That's how we get this Upanishad, Isavasya Upanishad. And this is one of the most important Upanishads in the world of Upanishad. And the Upanishads are the foundation of Hindu religion or the Vedantic teaching. When I say Hindu religion, the Vedantic teaching. Vedanta is a vision, a knowledge. Knowledge about the self, a systematic knowledge about the self. So of that knowledge, this Upanishad is the most important. So please understand Veda and Vedanta. Veda talks about the phenomenal force. Vedanta talks about your own inner self. And through that self-knowledge, you will be able to discover peace, happiness, and bliss. That's what the purpose. And enlightenment, if you can say so. That's the purpose. So Vajasaneyi Upanishad. These stories are just to show you the importance of this Upanishad. You may believe in it, you may not believe in it. You may think, how can Lord Sun teach? But that makes you be inspired by the teaching. Now let us read the first invocation. Shanti Pad. Shanti Pad means peace invocation. So when you teach the Upanishad, you have to give some introduction. At least Upanishad is part of the Vedas, that much you can say. Upanishad is part of the Vedas. And Vedas are four, Rig Veda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, Atharvana Veda. And Vedas are the foundational scriptures of the Hindus. And Upanishad is the culminating wisdom of the Vedas. And Upanishad talk about the self. These things we should be very, very clear. And the Upanishad begins with a Shanti part, peace invocation. Peace invocation means invoking inner peace. Because without the inner peace, no spiritual study or inquiry is possible. If the mind is disturbed, you cannot inquire into the self, nor can you meditate, isn't it? A disturbed mind, you sit down and try to meditate. Mind will go here and there. There is no peace. So mind has to be very peaceful to undertake spiritual inquiry or to establish relationship with the Lord. So here is a peace invocation. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. These three words are immortalized by not only the Upanishadic masters, but in Wasteland, that immortal poem of the Nobel laureate, who is that? What is that? T.S. Eliot. He made this three words immortal. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Because he concludes his poem, very celebrated poem, with these three words: peace be, peace be, peace be. And he used another three words before that. And those three words are Damadhvam, Dayadhvam, and Dattada. Three words. Damadhvam, Dayadhvam, and Dattada. Dhamma means self-control. He says self-control is the most important value for people in the 21st century. Of course, he wrote in the early part of the 20th century. Self-control is the most important value. We have all other qualities, the modern person. All other qualities are there, but no self-control. Then you make a fool of yourself. You do things which you regret later. Oh, I should not have done. And why did you do it? At that time, I lose my control. So though you are very, very intelligent, and the perfect example is Clinton, isn't it? Absolutely intelligent, but then foolish acts. So can you blame him? No, you cannot. He is intelligent. In a debate or a discussion or a policy statement or a State of the Union address, nobody can equal him. But silly mistakes. So, according to Yeats, the most important quality that modern man requires is self-discipline. Damadhvam, he said. Damadhvam. Dhamma means self-discipline. And the second important quality, Dayadhvam, compassion. Millions of people were simply butchered by Hitler, by Stalin, by Ho Chi Minh, by this man, by that man, millions upon millions of people. If they had some compassion, they would not have done that. So what we require in this modern age of mass destruction or murder, what you require is compassion. Dayadhvam, compassion. And the third value he preaches is Dattada. Dattada means sharing. Whatever wealth we have to learn to share. Sharing. Sharing of your wealth. That is another value. Don't eat up all that you have. Don't hoard, but share. So Damadhvam, Dayadhvam, and Dattada, three values: self-discipline, sharing, and compassion. And then he said, Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Three, peace. Peace in the environment, peace is necessary. Peace in our own mind, peace is necessary. And peace in the high heavens. Everywhere there should be peace. So peace, peace, peace. It can also mean physically peace, mentally and intellectually. Physical peace. Physical peace means ability to sit down quietly for 5 minutes. Do we have that? No. We just cannot sit down 5 minutes peacefully. Impossible. We must do something, like the monkeys. That's why sometimes I feel Darwin is right in saying that we are descendants of monkeys, because we just cannot sit physically quiet or emotionally quiet. Our emotions are all running wild, like wild horses. So for emotional quiet, physical quietude, practice yoga. You have to practice yoga or some exercise, because a quiet body is necessary for any further progress. Mental, emotional quietude, practice positive thoughts. You have to practice it, because it's a question of habit. Emotion is a question of habit. You have to create appropriate habits, which is called character, personality. Everything comes out of discipline your emotions, character. That's why Clinton has no character, we say. He is intelligent, but no character. Poor Clinton, I have nobody else to refer. What can I do? So he says, character. Character is what you cultivate purposefully with a objective in mind. You have to cultivate that discipline. And thirdly, intellectual discipline means ability of discernment, knowing what is to be done, what is not to be done. So all these are very, very important. Then alone you can see the spirit. Otherwise there is no spiritual realization. So peace means physically, emotionally and intellectually. What the modern world lacks is the emotional training. In the university you don't get training for your emotions. You get training for your brain, your intellect, but no emotional training. No EQ, but there is IQ. No EQ. EQ is very, very important. So peace be. So 3 pieces are said. Shantipada, peace invocation. So the Upanishad begins. So when you teach this Upanishad, you have to start with this mantra. The mantra is Purnamada, Purnamidam, Purnat, Purnamudachyade, Purnasya, Purnamadaya, Purnam eva avashishyade. Most of you know this mantra. Most of this know, because in all our religious ceremonies and rituals, we conclude all our rituals with this mantra. We begin our rituals with this mantra. And what is the meaning of this mantra? Om begins with. No scripture begins without this opening statement. Om. So Om is an auspicious beginning. It's a very auspicious sound. Om. Mind becomes instantaneously quiet. Even on telephone you can say, instead of saying hi, you can say Om. And Om is a mantra chanted by all the Eastern religions, whether it is Chinese, Buddhist, Jain, Hindu, all religions accept Om. And Om is made up of 3 syllables. We all know that. A, O and M. A, O, M. A refers to your waking world. A refers to the waking world. U refers to your dream world. M refers to your sleep world. These are the 3 worlds. Like a bird, we fly into the sleep world, then come down to the dream world, then to the waking world, then we further like a bird. Doesn't the bird do that? When the sun breaks, the bird goes out in search of worms. It flies here and there, and finally tired, it comes back and come back into its nest and rest in the nest, so that the following day it can go again. So That's what we are doing. Every day we go back into the nest of sleep. Some of you may be doing even now then. Go back into the nest of sleep. And then we rest. Then we come out. Go all around. And then we come back. So that these are the three theaters on the stages of which we play out, act out the drama of our life. And then finally we may merge, go back to the green room. That's what green room, we go back, and then after some time again come back. So A represent the waking, U represent the dream, M represent the sleep, and then Om begins with in silence, ends in silence. So if you carefully chant Om, you can experience Om as a modification of silence. That's why when you chant Om, mind becomes very, very silent, because Om begins in silence, ends in silence. So Rishi said the Om is a modification of silence. A, O, M is a modification of silence. That silence represents the Turiya, the fourth state of consciousness. So there are 4 states of consciousness in which we move. The Turiya, the fourth, the waking, the dream, and the sleep. And according to the Rishi, death is only a long sleep. They don't distinguish between death and sleep. It's a long sleep. In sleep also you don't know anything. Isn't it? You don't know anything. If you know something, then you are not sleeping. You are not sleeping then. Suppose somebody asks you, are you sleeping? And you say, yes, yes. That means you are not sleeping. So in sleep, that's the definition of sleep. There where you have no consciousness of the world or of your own thoughts. That's the sleep state. And death is only a long sleep. Then you again come back. Either you come back or you go to many lokas. So we all are immortal that way. That's a very consoling philosophy of the East. It is not just one life. We have several lives. We may not remember all that. But lack of remembrance is not lack of absence of existence. You did exist. You may not remember. Do you remember what you ate 10 years ago for your breakfast? Do you remember? 10 years ago, 1985 or 1983, Tuesday morning, what did you eat? You don't remember. You don't know. Does that mean you did not eat breakfast? I know you must have definitely eaten breakfast. You cannot live without eating breakfast. But you don't remember. Even if I tell you what did you eat, you will not remember. That does not mean you did not eat. Similarly, you have experiences, but that gone so deep into your unconscious, you don't remember at all. So that's the meaning of death. Death is not the end. Death is only a comma, not a period, full stop. That makes us little bold in facing life. Otherwise only one life. Here is many, many lives. That's why somebody said, one of the Upanishads said, you are a soul with a body, not a body with a soul. You are a soul with a body. Body is like costumes, vestures. Many, many bodies you have taken. So, Om represents all this. All aspects of life is represented by Om. Om is called a monosyllabic mantra. Om is also a name for God. Om. Instead of saying God or Jesus or Jehovah, you can say Om. Name for Abhidhanam. For God. And Om is an auspicious sound. It's a very auspicious, creates a lot of positive feelings in you. So whenever we are depressed, you can chant Om half a dozen times and feel good. So it begins with Om, the whole mantra. Then the first statement is Purnam Ataha, he says. Purnam Ataha, the first statement. Ataha means that. In Sanskrit, Ataha means that. That is Purnam. That is full, complete, infinite. Many meanings are there for Purnam. That is infinite or complete. What do you mean by that? Here that means the source of everything. Everything visible has a source. They have a source. That source of the entire visible universe is Purnam, is infinite, complete, he says. You can call it God, you can call it infinite, you can also call it the transcendental reality, that which transcends everything. Transcends time, transcends space, transcends sense organs, transcends mind. That which transcends all this is called that. So that's a Sanskrit word, a pronoun indicating that which is beyond everything, the great, grand, beyond. Beyond time, beyond space, but still exist. So that great, grand, beyond God, or the source of everything, the primeval cause, or the first mover, the prime mover. Plato called it Aristotle called the prime mover, God or whatever. The object of your faith. It can be comprehended only by faith. That is Purnam, complete. Purna means complete, full. Divine, another meaning. That is Purnam. You have not seen it, you have no way of knowing it with your limited intellect, 1.5 kilogram of matter. With that you will not know it. So that is Purnam. Have faith in that, he says. So here you need a leap of faith to begin with. Not a reason. Not even feeling. Because you cannot feel it also. What you require is a leap of faith, a special faculty of faith. These great people say that, so I believe it. And I myself feel that there should be something. So that is Purnam, infinite, inexhaustible, complete. That makes our life little meaningful. Otherwise life has no meaning. So Purnam Ataha. Ataha means that is Purnam, complete. Complete in itself. Even without the world, it's complete. It does not require the world to exist. Whereas the world needs that for its existence. It exists independent of the world. It has no need for the world for its existence. That's the meaning of Purnam. Otherwise it becomes Apurnam, incomplete without the world. It is complete by itself, independent of the world. Do you see that? No, I don't see it. Will you ever be able to see it? You will never be able to see that. Because you have no instrument to see that. You have no faculty to see that. But still it is there. I don't know when did man discover this? It's very difficult to say. Actually man did not discover it. It was revealed to man. Otherwise there is no way of knowing it. The rishis, they sat in quiet contemplation without thinking about anything, because they are tired of thinking about the world. Then they just sat quiet in alert mind. Then this was revealed to him. Otherwise there is no way of knowing it. There is no other way of knowing it. So Purnam Ataha. So when this was reported, have you read that Jonathan Livingston Seagull? That's a very interesting story. This little bird, he refuses to eat rotten fish because that's what it gets, the birds. He refuses to eat. I have no reference to anybody in this hall here. They refuses to eat rotten fish, and the bird decides, I must fly. That's my potential. That's my destiny. So it eats less so that it can reduce its weight. So it reduces its weight. By reducing your weight, you don't fly. Somebody may be able to pick you up easily, but you will not be able to fly. You need a wingspan. And how do you do that? By practicing. The bird starts practicing. Every day in the morning it will get up. And instead of looking for these rotten fish, it looks up and wants to fly. Spreads its wing. It will go up. And then it will come down in a soup. And then again it will go up. This way it practices. And every day it will go a little more, little above, little higher, little higher. And one day it broke the gravity. It broke the gravity and it flew into the land of light, pure light. And then when it came back, because coming back is possible, going up is difficult, isn't it? To fall is very easy, going up is very difficult. So it went up and then came down. When it came down, it had golden wings. Then the other birds won't recognize it. Golden wings. And the other birds shunned him. Then he called a couple of birds, come with me. Nobody wanted to go. But one or two young birds chose to go. They also start flying. So similarly, this requires a lot of blessing and insight and intuition and effort, or a leap of faith, as they say, to discover it, to know it at least. So Purnam Ataha, that is Purnam. And once we have faith in it, it makes a lot of difference to life. Purnam Ataha. Then, what about this world which I am seeing through the sense organs, mentally, the world of mind and the senses, the world of the ego, the world you and I see? What about that? That world is called Idam, this world. That's that world. And this world, Idam, this world. This world, that also is Purnam. Purnam means complete. This also is complete. This also is infinite. This also is divine. This world is divine. That also is divine. That means there are two realities now. That and this. Do you mean there are two realities? And what bridges these two realities? What comes from what? So this world which you see seems to be infinite, isn't it? If you try to measure this world, this universe, impossible. Seems to be infinite. Infinite matter that this world has. So this world is infinite. That also is infinite. That world can exist independently. And the only difference is this world is constantly changing. So the next question is that where did this world come from? Is there a relationship between this world and that world? And the answer is Purnad, Purnam, Udachyade. Udachyade means manifest. Udachyade, manifest. This world of infinite variety, color, taste, smell, measure. This world of infinite variety manifest from that world, that invisible world, or that invisible reality. From this world manifest. You have to lift your attention a little into that question. You have to think of the whole world, the whole universe, made up of color, taste, smell, form. In Vedanta we call it Nama and Rupa. The whole world is described as Namam, words, and Rupa, forms. The world is nothing but words and form. Form can be dissolved, word can also be dissolved. So this world of name and form, which we encounter daily, and our body is also part of that world, all of them emerge and manifest from that world. So Purna Mataha, Purna Midam, Purnat, Purnam Udachyade. From that reality, this world manifests. So this can be called a relative reality. That is the absolute reality. This is a relative reality, manifested reality, and that is the unmanifest absolute reality. And we are the junction where these two realities meet. We are the point. We human beings are the point where these two realities meet in your consciousness. From your consciousness arise your world, your thoughts, your experiences. And beyond your thoughts, your world, your experience is the pure consciousness. So they meet in you. That's why in a very contemplative state we are able to capture that reality. So Purna Mataha, Purna Midam, Purnad. Purnad means from that higher reality. Purnam, this lower relative reality. Udachyade, manifest, arise. You see, there are here the rishis dealing with the problem of creation. There are three understandings about the world. One is, some people say the world is a creation. The world is deliberately, purposefully created by a God. God created the world. The creation theory. That's one theory. One day God thought, he felt so lonely, let me create the world. Then he took a clod of clay. Then he blew it, and there was the world, like these glass people who make. So then the question, where did he get the clod of clay? Oh, that he just manifested, maybe out of himself. The creationists say God created the world out of nothing. Ex nihilo. The world was created by the Lord. Ex nihilo. Ex nihilo means from nothing. He just created the world. And then he will again come, realizing his mistake and foolishness. Then he will withdraw the world. That's one theory. That's called the creationist theory. The other theory is the modern theory, the scientific theory of evolution. It was all a matter in a very condensed state, then it explodes, energy, material, stars, planets, water, and then unicellular beings, then fish, then amphibians, then birds, then monkeys, and a fallen monkey, you and I. That's another idea, the creationist theory. And you find a lot of dialogue between these two people, creationist and evolutionist. Now, the Vedantic theory is totally different. The Vedantic theory is the emanation or the manifestation theory. That the reality, pure consciousness, appears or manifests as the world. So the world is a disguised appearance of God. That's the meaning of appear. For example, sometime when you go to the market and they give you this tiger mask, isn't it? They give you. So you just for fun you wear it. Then you come home, press the bell, and your 3-year-old son runs to the door. Papa aa gaya hai. Father has come. He opens the door and what do you see? The tiger. Then he runs to the kitchen. And the mother takes a stick and comes, tiger. We have to tackle the tiger. She comes and sees not the tiger, her own husband, isn't it? Then she will say, after all he is your son, why do you terrorize him like this? Why do you disturb him like this? So similarly, so the mother, the wife can see the person behind the mask. But the son, the child can see only the mask, not the person. And the mask gains a personality altogether. That's the difference. When you are enlightened, you see God behind every mask. When you are unenlightened, you see only the mask. Yes, that's why Shelley said, if you can see the whole ocean in a drop of water, then you see the truth. So similarly, this world is seen as a masked God, an emanation, manifestation of God. The truth of the world is God. So thereafter you don't have to even remove the mask. You know that mask is worn by the true person. You don't have to remove it. With the mask you can recognize the person. Similarly, when we say the world has come from God, it only means God played these many roles. He played the role as you are God's manifestation. Even a grain of sand is a manifestation of God. So that's the manifestation theory, emanation theory. So 3 theories are there: creation theory, evolution theory, and emanation theory. This emanation theory has not joined the argument in the dialogue. It is only creation and evolution theory. The other theory has not come. But that theory is there in the Western world. The Kabbalah people believe in that theory of emanation. Buddha believes in that theory of emanation, what he called dependent origination. Vedanta believes in that theory. Plato believed in that theory. Everything is an emanation of idea. So that belief is there, but somehow or other it is forgotten. And the argument has been brought down to creation and the evolution theory. So we have to join forces with them. Bring this evolution, emanation theory, and then, so that's what is said here. So let's have these 3 theories in mind. Purnamada, Purnamidam, Purnat, Purnam Udachyate. The world manifests. So I don't want you to accept any of this theory, but bring all the theory in the understanding of the world. Creationist, evolutionist, and emanationist theory. Hari Om. Thank you very much. We will see tomorrow. So let us close with the chanting of the mantra once more. Om Purnamataha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om.